Hi, welcome to Soul Space Studio. I haven't done a video blog for a little bit, so I thought I would do one, but I wanted to show you that. Can you see it? I think I've done that before. Every time that's up there, I just wanted to show everybody. I love how the sun comes through this big window behind me and casts the shadow of Soul Space Studio from the signage on the window. It's just I don't know, for me, it's just a reminder of the shadow work, of the play of light and dark, and yeah, how that's part of our lives, always has been. So anytime you've seen, sometimes there's if you followed me at all, you've seen some of my photos about that, and just that, how curious that makes me. I just wanted to just pop in and say one, happy Independence Day. We will be open tomorrow. Lori will be down from Canada. She'll be in visiting and bringing her offerings with her. My sister will be here. Ashley will be here. You'll miss not having Hev and baby Maddox in the studio, but they don't get to get here that often. I will have my son Chris and his wife and my son Garth in tomorrow as well. So that's pretty cool. They'll be around, and yeah, so we'll be open for the 4th of July. I guess it gets really crazy down here in the little town of Blaine, Washington. Right outside, they shut down the street, and there's vendors and a parade and all those wonderful festivities that are across most small town USA. So that'll be a fun time. I did want to just pop in with some thoughts today, though. Um, yeah, I get kind of thought provoked all the time. That's my state of in thought, and so many things that I want to share. But today, um, it's just this reflection of the fires that have gone on in New Harmony. Now, that's where I came from, a little town in southern Utah, New Harmony, and they've had so many fires. Now, wildfires are not anything unusual for the desert Southwest, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, many of those states. But there's just something about the devastation when it's so close to home, and many of you have experienced that or know people who have experienced it. Um, and we've been through those fires before, where they've encroached on property, my property even. And but this last one just seems, even though I'm not there anymore, it's maybe it's the empath in me. I just feel the devastation. I feel the sadness and the sorrow for those that are what I call people like me, who are treasure keepers um, of history and of earth, and so much about that needs to be, that I feel is important and should be treasure kept for posterity, for just for the essence of what it is. Even though memories stay within us, they never really go away. Things are still remain alive. There's just something about the devastation of a fire, and then the loss of the little critters that are just devastated by that, and um, the plants, and yeah, you guys get it. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that's just been really hard for me to kind of, I'm removed from there, but yet I still kind of follow it. And it's taken a lot out of some people I know in that community, and I know the devastation of having another big one hit again, and that's really just really very hard. And then as I was thinking about that and running some errands this morning, preparing for tomorrow, we've got a really fun little art project, a little canvas painting that will be offered in the studio tomorrow. I was headed in, of course, because I wait to the very last minute to make sure I have enough paint and canvas and all those good things that you need to have in the studio for an unexpected turnout of people tomorrow. Of course, seeing, I live in the county, there's always critters who didn't make it across the road, who have been hit and dead, and it's hard for me because I just don't think anything should just be laying on the asphalt, right? And maybe I attribute that to me having my legs run over and kind of part of the broken asphalt and gravel and dirt, and yeah, so I've learned my lesson, though. while on my prosthetics or in my chair to not go out and attempt to lift these dead critters up off the ground. It's a little bit dangerous on these county roads when people are going 50 miles an hour. And here there's like hills, and I typically am down at the bottom of the hill. Anyways, it could be disastrous. Thank goodness that those that have seen me have seen me when I've done it. And so I didn't get out today, even though my heart so wanted to. There was a possum, and but there was also a vulture taking parts of the possum. So it was a reminder that even in the devastation, the human caused devastation, that nature has her way, right? She knows she has her vultures that kind of clean up, and this vulture was taking really good care of this possum. And then later I had seen a bird. This was the hard one today because the bird was still alive. Somebody must have just clipped its wings, and it was just like ducking in the middle of the other lane in the road, right? And of course I start sobbing because I'm like, damn, I can't stop. I can't, I could get out, but there are cars coming up behind me that are going 50 miles an hour. And yeah, so as I offered a prayer for this little bird, I offered a prayer, and I thought, is this enough? Is it enough for us to offer a prayer? And if our life is a prayer, because if the divine, if God knows what's in our hearts, then we're constantly, and I don't have the piece here, I have a piece that I've done that my life is a prayer. I think Rumi has said that, let my life be a prayer. Yeah, is that enough to offer that? And then I thought, probably no one else noticed this little bird or will notice this little bird. And maybe that was the only prayer that was offered for that little bird, ever, that living creature. And then as I'm driving to the studio, and I'm thinking, and I'm kind of sobbing, and yeah, all the things that are going on, and all this paint rattling around and out of the bag now that is now tipped over in the back of the car, I thought to myself, well, what other offerings do I have? I come to the studio. It hasn't picked up quite like I'd like it to, but there's been some pretty profound conversations that have gone on in here. And people who have been here and have arted with me have really, I feel, have left with something. Whether they arted with me or Ashley or Heather when she was here. There's something here. And is this offering enough? Is it enough for me to put a pencil or a paintbrush into somebody's hand and ask them to go a little bit deep, to discover what's waiting to be revealed at a subconscious level? Some people that come in here are just wanting to begin to build the trust with me, to have that experience and to build that trust, to see, is it comfortable enough? Are they going to be comfortable enough? And many people don't even know exactly what's going to be experienced just yet. For some people, the idea that it's the process and not the product is an interesting one. That it doesn't always have to look pretty, according to what maybe society would say, right? I've had people look at some of the art that I have displayed in here, and they have that sweet, sweet smile like, oh my goodness, that's very nice, right? But the process that went into it, the layers and layers of depth that went into it, to me is priceless. It's priceless. So my question today, is a prayer enough? Is it enough to just show up? Is it enough to put a pencil and a paintbrush in somebody's hand and support them? Help facilitate them to discover something within themselves? May it be so. And in your moments of wondering, is it enough? I invite you to ask the question. Explore it just a little bit. This whole exploration today was a little bit like the shadowing up there, right? A little bit like that. There's light and there's dark. There's a balance in it. And maybe the real thing is just that. We show up. I don't know. Some thoughts for today. Anyways, create a wonderful Independence Day. What does that mean to you? How does that feel inside of you? Yeah, there's a lot going on in our world, isn't there? Anyways, blessings to all of you. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, please stop by. If you're seeing this and you're not in the Pacific Northwest, please go over and like our Facebook page. Maybe kind of follow it a little bit. I appreciate all of your support. And yeah, look forward to visiting with all of you again soon. Take care.